Okay, so fun story. I thought I was live before this, but it turns out I wasn't. So let's get into Ayadoka Interlude as fast as possible to, make up some of our time. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Let's ride. So this is Ayadoka Interlude. It is an experience, and it's time to go fast. Hello there, Stella. I said hi to you earlier, but I didn't realize I wasn't live then. But thank you all. I hope that you will enjoy this game. This is very similar to a bunch of puzzle platformers of, the early 90s where you got stuff like Flashback Identity, where your controls and your actions are they're very set. This is not the one where we just slice the world in half at the end. This is another game in the same series. Somehow I've run 3 games that this developer has made, and every single one of them has their own bizarre stuff to it. Yeah, it's also not a lewd game. The other one that I've done runs of at Big Bad Game-a-thon is the lewd one. This one has the worst controls of all 3 of the games that I've read by this developer. It also has the most frame traps. It's quite a thing. You will never truly understand how bizarre the controls are until you try it out for yourself, but it does not feel near as fluid as like any platformer from well, the reason why folks in the chat remember this distinct visual style from another game in Big Bad Game-a-thon is because I've also run Hinadari Beat in Big Bad Game-a-thon, and it's made by the same dev. This is the one with hard-coded inputs. If you want to get a really funny computer crash, buy this game, and then use a different controller that is not an Xbox controller and set it up in Steam with the Steam controller options to use that controller instead of an Xbox controller and to read the inputs of your new controller like an Xbox controller. What ends up happening is that this game, how it gets around not having great controller setup or not having direct controller support is that it has emulated Xbox inputs as just, it emulates Xbox inputs as keyboard inputs. So what ends up happening is if you go into Steam and then set up a different controller to emulate an Xbox controller, the game goes into realizing emulated Xbox inputs are emulated keyboard inputs, which crashes the computer. It causes a fatal memory address somewhere in the computer, and your computer will blue screen if you do this. I found that out the hard way. I figured out that it's emulating keyboard inputs on an Xbox controller the hard way whenever I switched my live split settings to have Z be reset the live split, and all of a sudden I could no longer jump. Every time I tried to jump, I was just resetting live split instead. And it's because Z is the jump button. Storyline. We're going up to the top of the skyscraper to find our sister. she's a bad person, so it's probably not going to go well for us when we get to the top of the skyscraper, but you know what? Let's go up to the top of the skyscraper and find our sister and see. I did not mean to jump that way, and see what happens. X is block on keyboard. I don't know why. It's also, the other block method is quarter circle back, which is what I actually just did just there. Yeah, you can block attacks with a quarter circle input. I don't know why. These guys are just hanging out on the walls and shooting spikes at us. The spikes are so tiny that I'm not even sure they come up on stream. It is very, very bizarre. Yeah. And attack, if I'm remembering correctly on keyboard setup, attack is K. So it's like Z jump, X block, K attack. Make of that what you will. It's a weird setup. This whole game is weird. Yes, K. That is a very easy button to reach to. Yeah, you know, fire shooting. Oh, whoops. Actually, now that it's mentioned, now that somebody mentions K's attack ends in K, I think the reasoning for that was this game was originally titled Kickboxer, and instead of having a sword to attack, you attacked by kicking, and I think that's the reason why. It makes sense somewhere. So I need to do a really tight time spike avoidance tactic there. It's just got great game decision choices all over the place. Those flames have incredibly large hitboxes. No jump is Z. I don't. You know, it's a game. There's also WASD controls built into this game. That might be the reason why, where like you can control movement with WASD. And then maybe K makes sense there, where it's like W is forward, I'm sorry, A is forward, W is jump, S is duck, and then D is right, and then K and I think J are the other buttons. You know, we just gotta wall jump around. Z is for jumps. I did not grip the wall. There we go. Come on. These enemies... Oh dear. I jumped on spikes. Yeah, so if the enemies block up together, you really can't do anything because, you know, they have such giant hurt boxes on their attacks that I really appreciate all the Zomp memes in chat. That, you know, if two enemies just kind of get on top of each other and they start attacking in a different series, oh, I missed that jump, then you can't actually get around them. But there we go. Grab the ledge, get along, and I can jump over! I think the bizarre, but I think the bizarre control choices come from the game dev trying to force both arrow controls for movement and WASD controls for movement, and it just didn't work out that great. I need to wait for him, and I need to get up. There we go. If you really want to do something, just jump on down. Fortunately, these enemies aren't grouping up too much at the moment. Yeah, the emulating the Xbox controller is just it's a choice. There we go. I got the block in though. There we go. This is by far the worst game that this dev has designed, and I submitted other games that he has designed that are actually much better and a bit more logical in things. No, X was block. X was block. So that's how you block attacks. So it's like Z is jump, X is block, and then attack is like K. I think it might also be C. I don't remember. I just deal with the emulated Xbox controls. It's too weird. See, Hinadari Beat makes more sense with its controls because he just took out the whole block mechanic. And like designed enemies around that you wouldn't need to block their attacks as often. Oh no, I need to do all of that platforming again because I got short jumped. Again, variable jump distance. Your jump does not always go the same distance each time. So, yeah, I had to go all the way back around because I got short jumped. And I don't think it's not an intended thing that your jump distance is variable. It's just kind of as a result of the animation loop that he designed, meaning that if, oh, and there we go, I got short jumped again, so I just jumped off the wall back into the spikes, where certain parts of your keyframes will result in longer jumps, and certain parts of your certain keyframes will result in a shorter jump, and it's like fun to mess with. Yeah, but you know, we just gotta parkour our way through. This game has so much, so here, let me, if I can say the 3 biggest games that this dev has worked on. He's worked on, oh man, I can't attack. There we go. He's worked on Shin Samurai Jazz, which I do speedruns of, and multiple games that use Shin Samurai Jazz's movement techniques, movement setup. And in that game, you actually have an air dash. And then he designed, after using multiple games with an air dash, he designed this game, Ayadoka Interlude, which was originally known as Kickboxer, where you have a lot of forced combat, but you also have really janky parkour controls. And then, at the end of everything, he ended up taking those really janky parkour controls and designed them into a little game called Hinadari Beat, which we've seen at BBG before. Hinadari Beat has much better parkour controls than this, and way fewer enemies that you're forced to get through. But yep, here we go, we get the Donkey Kong levels now. These Donkey Kong guys, it's just, you know, go in the right time and don't die. Please don't die, you know. But there we go. That works. You can barely jump over barrels. These particular enemies with the baseball bats are just the worst. They can outspeed you in their attacks. So they have better frame data than you. They one-shot you, and you cannot block them. Let me repeat this. The guys with baseball bats have better frame data than us, so they can attack faster than us. They are unblockable, and they have massive range. You will quite quickly see these guys turn into the bane of this run. You have to just kind of wait for them from a distance and then hard punish them. That is the only way around those baseball bat guys. It is a nightmare and a half to try to get around them. They are by far the worst enemy design I have ever come across in a platformer. No, you cannot change your inputs. You cannot change your inputs, and trying to use joy to key or other inputs causes such large memory issues that it will blue screen your computer. So yeah, just get used to, you know, the bizarre controls, or do it with the emulated Xbox controller controls. There's no other options. There we go. Whoa, I kind of glitched out there on the edge of that thingy-mabob. Come on! Or yeah, just don't play this game. That might be the better option. Like, honestly, if you like this art style and the switching stuff around, I would suggest Hinidari Beat as the easiest game that this guy is designed to play. Unfortunately, Hinidari Beat, which I did show off last Big Bad Game-a-thon, features quite a bit of porn in it, so just go into that in mind. If you don't want to see that, you know, don't play Hinidari Beat. But Hinidari Beat is by far the best visual style of all the games this guy has created, and by far the best controlling one. There is a legacy version of Hinidari Beat that you can download in the oh no. So this is what I was saying about the bat guys being terrible. Yeah, he can just kind of stay up there, and it's random if you will be able to get past him. You just have to try to come up at the right time in the middle of his animation and hope it works out. And now we get two baseball bat guys. Yeah, quite literally the only thing you can do is just hope that these guys attack and punish them. There is no way around them without doing that. Now we've got, you know, 3 of them in a room together. And yeah, there we go, that works. Okay, so we get to Act 5 of the game. This is the final act of the game. Final act is by far the most difficult and the longest, but it's got a bunch of rooms where, you know, we're just kind of forced into these terrible enemy interactions, and a lot more spike puzzles to get through. These guys are fun. Come on, let me get past. Thank you. And boom, here we go. We get out here, just run around. Hey, we're running in the 90s. Although this game is not in the 90s. This game is quite literally set in the 80s. That is very well established on a personal blog post of the game dev. There's nothing else in the game that tells you that this is in the 80s. It's just in his blog. So we're not running in the 90s, we're running in the 80s. Can I make it? Yes, I made that timing. Oh yeah, and since this is one hit kill, you know, I have to restart every single one of these rooms if I get any losses. If I die, then you have to restart a room. This game came out originally in like 2014, I believe. But the version of the game that I'm playing came out in 2020, so last year. Yeah, this game was released last year. It was originally released in 2014 in a game called Kickboxer, and the game dev said Kickboxer was a bad game and he was going to rework Kickboxer, and the new title of the game after that rework was Ayadoka Interlude, and the two games just straight up are not anything alike whatsoever. So technically you could say this game came out in 2014, but really we should say that the game came out in 2020, because there is nothing left of Kickboxer in here. And I don't know why. Yeah, see, the original version of Kickboxer came out in 2014, and the game was listed as Kickboxer whenever it was added to Steam in 2015. The name change to Ayadoka Interlude was only last year. All previous versions of the game were known as Kickboxer. Whoops. I didn't want to do that jump. Like, again, I really do enjoy a lot of the aspects of this particular game dev's game designs. You know, the graphics are very unique. The music is really chill and relaxed. You know, I do like it. It's just there are a lot of bizarre control issues in every single one of the games the fella has designed. I believe his name is, or their name is Epic Blaze. I am unsure of that. But, yeah, I do greatly enjoy their work in general, but there are some very glaring issues with it. Which, you know, gets its place here on Big Bad Game-a-thon. It certainly deserves its place. Yeah, Blaze Epic. So I have to redo this entire room again because of that guy, but you know, whatever. I did not mean to jump into that. There we go. But yeah, the music is nice, just everything in general about the game is nice, but enemy design is not a strong point of this dev, and neither is good control choices. But there we go. We can kind of get through. There we go. And now I need to wait for the spikes to change. There we go. So this is possibly the worst room in the game. You just need to get to the top of this tower. Yeah, there's just a ton of enemies here. But we got to the top of this tower, and now we start the next set of the next part of the game, which features just some very, very weirdly designed rooms. Ah, come on. The hitboxes on those floating heads are quite annoying to deal with. No! Yeah, they are certainly colors. This is by far the most difficult part of the run, is this final set of rooms. There we go. Sprite themed. I like it. Okay. Dude, no, don't. No! Okay, here we go. Oh, well, that spike popped up because I did not jump far enough. I got short jumped. And I got short jumped again, so I just barely hit the hurt box for those spikes. No! This is where, you know, the game's not having set jump distance really starts coming into play. Oh boy. Here we go. I need to now jump and jump and jump. Okay. Oh dear. Oh boy. There we go. No! I mistimed that last section. Oh, and I mistimed that section. The timing is terrible. You need to jump with here while these spikes are going down, or otherwise you will just not have enough time to deal with that. There we go. No! Ah! This is fine. This is fine. We're near the end. We are near the end. I swear this is fine. There we go. Okay, thank goodness. So this is the final room of the game, and it's by far the worst. Whew. It's very slow. It's just dealing with a bunch of very specific patterns with randomly thrown in enemies. See, I need to time this one just correctly. There we go. That one is incredibly tight timing. The correct way to do that jump has like 2 to 3 frames of leeway, and there's no other way around it, so I have to do some very specific visual cues there. And same thing here. I've got, oh, you got like 3 frames of leeway on that one, and I was just a little too late, and we have to redo the entire thing. And reminder that you can, once you start an animation, you cannot cancel an animation. You have to play out the entire animation. So, you know, good, great design. Yeah, the music slaps, man. The music is awesome. Like I said, I find some really cool stuff about these games. There are things I really do enjoy. 1, 2, 3. Yes! Thank goodness. Oh, man. Okay. Whew, yes. Now let's see if, you know, we can get through it this time. Okay, come on, come on. Yes! We made it! I need to wait and wait. Okay. Make it! Yes! Okay, final room, final room! So, here we meet our sister, and she says, you know, as soon as you step through the door, you'll die. And the game just ends. The game ends with our sister saying, yeah, as soon as you step through the door, you'll die. And you just step through, and the game ends. And I guess you start all over again. Whoo! Thank y'all. So I believe we are ready to cut and go to my next game, which is thank goodness, an easier game than this. So as soon as I see the message to go ahead and let this be cut here, I will go to a not as interesting interlude, which is some mountain taxi driving.